Hey guys, welcome to Marvel's Infinity Watch Tower now. It's a different show because we're also going to be talking about DC, but not on this episode. We're going to be talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're going to be talking about Marvel Comics, but most importantly, we're going to be talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp. And also, in this episode today, you're going to see me interview Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly. Who else did we? We had Michael Douglas. Peyton Reed, yeah. And Hannah John Kamen. Yep. All stars from Ant-Man and the Wasp. It's going to be on this episode today, so stay tuned for this one. Here, first and foremost, guys, how's your week been?
It's been good. It's been good.
Busy, very busy.
Busy, yeah. Yesterday. I was struggling with you earlier today too. Johnny, you're going to Vegas this weekend.
Yep, I'll be at Las Vegas Comic-Con at the Las Vegas Convention Center, selling some books, promoting comics and everything like that. So if any of you hashtaggers in the area, come on by. I love to kick and talk with you guys about Power Rangers, and we'd love to show you my books too.
Are you gonna hit the tables?
Oh yeah, Parker will be playing some poker. I will be playing some poker.
You know when Johnny gets serious is when he does this thing.
Oh yeah.
This thing means like my evil plan is kind of coming together.
And then when he's really serious, he starts licking his lips a little bit.
Yeah.
Like LL Cool J back in the day.
LL Cool J.
Guys, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I know we're on late, but you stuck with it because you love Marvel, we love Marvel, and guess what? We just expanded to DC, which is a big thing going on as well. There's a lot of news coming out of that. But before we get into all that, first thing, I'm going to change it up on you guys. I'm not going to do this the way I would normally do this because I got some advice to do it better, and I'm going to try that. But first and foremost, what I do want to talk about is the Super Chat feature. So you guys already know what that feature does. And for all of you that are new that are joining us, the Super Chat feature is that S button that kind of looks like a $, but I like to call it the support button. That helps support the show. It helps keep the lights on and keep us going so we can bring you the greatest content that we can possibly do. Because first and foremost, you guys are our priority. We want to give you that Marvel news. We want to give you that Power Ranger news, that DC news, everything that we do here, video games as well with Kelly, everything that we do here, we want to give it to you guys. But Rose said, I think Joe needs a drink. Look at that. That wasn't even a super chat.
I think he has a drink already.
But thank you guys so much for joining in with us. But we do have that super chat feature, so use it. But I'm not going to do the other plugs. So what I am going to do is let's just jump straight into news.
All right.
First and foremost, the first bit of news that came out was from Sony Marvel, not necessarily Marvel Disney. Sony Marvel. I want to talk about Jared Leto. He's going to be playing Morbius. Now, for all of you to catch us up to speed, Jared Leto played the Joker. I don't want to say iconically. I would say it was met with a lot of resistance in Suicide Squad. But Johnny, chat me up about who Morbius is.
Morbius is he's really cool. He's actually started the Spider-Man universe. He was a Spider-Man villain at first. He's actually known as the Living Vampire, and it's kind of cool because the thing about it is, though, during the period that he was created through science. And there was this, the comics code that they created back in the day.
Yeah.
There was a point in time where they couldn't have vampires in comic books, so they wanted to use a vampire in Spider-Man storyline. So that's how Morbius came about, because he was a vampire that was created through science. And by being the Living Vampire, it was a way of them avoiding the whole undead thing and everything like that. And so he's been a staple Spider-Man villain for years. Even did a couple of crossovers on the animated series, The Blade and whatnot.
I've seen
the Spider-Man animated series, yeah.
Yeah, everything with Gwen Stacy or something.
Oh yeah, temporary, and Felicia Hardy. Yep.
Yeah, Felicia Hardy.
Now, Jezzer, question for you. I know that you're not hardcore into the comics. However, cinematically, does it kind of spark your interest wanting a Morbius, Jared Leto-led movie?
By himself? Honestly, not so much. I feel like he's not a strong enough character to carry a whole movie by himself.
And
if they were to throw in Spider-Man in there,
But we also got to realize Jared Leto is definitely a method actor. So I'm just waiting for the headline. Jared Leto sucks the blood of co-star. She is dead. Headline.
He did that rat thing with the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, and they used condoms and stuff like that.
Yeah, he did some crazy shit on a Suicide Squad.
He did some crazy shit not to get that good a performance.
So
who said that?
So, Jezzer, asking you your opinion. Are you actually interested in a Morbius movie at all?
Not really.
Not really. Now, Johnny, as a comic fan, how interested are you in a Morbius movie?
Not that interested.
Well, that is two people. That is the movie side. That is the comic side. It doesn't necessarily seem like it is going to work.
Joe, what's your opinion?
My opinion is this: I think Jared Leto's a good actor. I think he's gonna bring a lot to the role. He's damn good looking. But realistically, I think, like I said, he's a method actor. He is a method actor, and my headline, I'm honestly waiting for the headline of Jared Leto drinks the blood of co-star.
One
randomly.
thing, honestly, one thing that might save the movie is if they throw Blade in it.
Yes, I agree with that.
Ooh.
Yes, I agree with that.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's going to be the case, but that is Jared Leto. That is Morbius. That is happening. Sony is on. Listen, Silver and Black got pushed back. I
wasn't interested in Silver and
Do
Black.
you guys
either.
remember
sorry.
when we got the announcement of the Jamie Madrox's Multiple Man movie with James Franco, and now that's completely gone? I fully expect this to be in that realm.
You think it's not even going to get past a certain point?
I mean, unless they tie it into the actual Marvel Cinematic Universe, maybe. But as a standalone, I don't think it works.
So
I agree.
Going forward, Sony has a deal with the MCU where they make the movie, but Marvel has full control over how they're doing it. How do you think that they're going to do with the Spider-Man universe? Do you think they only want Spider-Man, or do they want
No,
everything?
no. Of course, you want more. You want more characters to add to your IP.
Yeah.
What I do think is that with the way that Sony's kind of working things, we're in a flux. I don't necessarily think that we know exactly with Tom Holland being Spider-Man and what that's going to expand, but we definitely know that Tom Holland in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is stable. I can't imagine though executives thinking that, you know, we're going to come out with this Venom movie, but it's not going to connect, because regardless if you're Disney or not, Venom's a mainstream Spider-Man villain and character, and Tom Hardy is a great actor. Why would you not want him in your cinematic universe?
Not exactly. And not only that, though, but the other thing heard in that as well is that the Venom costume is kind of iconic. Because it came from that black Spider-Man costume, the spider across the chest. That's one of the coolest factors of him. Because he doesn't have actually any actual affiliation with it, you kind of lose that as well. And
so he has to have, like, cross paths with Spider-Man.
It makes the most sense.
Yeah, he needs to, because that's where a majority of his powers come from, because they're all based upon Spider-Man's powers.
Do you think the Spider-Man universe that they're doing for the cinematic universe is they're going to focus it more on Venom and having Spider-Man characters circle around Venom, or are they going to really include Tom Holland in all this? Because I feel like Tom Holland is going to be exclusively with the MCU.
I agree.
Yeah. Same.
I agree. All right, let's switch gears for a second, and we're talking about Sony. I'm going to switch gears to the Fox Marvel deal. Now, the Fox Marvel deal, it seems like it's a lock, because even Fox investors at this point are saying, hey, this decision's going to come up. I believe it's like July 21st, I believe, is the vote. But they're encouraging people to vote for Disney. And this changes the game for Phase 4. Not just for Phase 4, but for the TV side of this, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four. But, I mean, that's just a microcosm of what Disney's going to get. Think about Aliens, Die Hard. Some of these mainstream things are going to come to the House of Mouse.
Yeah.
Now, what I got to ask you is, I'm going to start with you, Jezzer. As a fan of film, what do you think about? Oh, save your computer there. As a fan of film, what do you are you excited about the possible acquisition, I should say, about Fox going to Disney? And yes, Fox Sports is not going to be going to Disney. That's a different thing.
And Fox News.
And Fox News. I'm not going to talk about that because we are not those outlets. However, I got to ask you as a film fan, how excited are you if Fox does go to Marvel?
It really depends if their intention is to revive old IPs or old. Or
when you say old IPs, are you talking just Marvel or all old IPs?
Like Fox properties. So like
Die Hard.
Die Hard, like
Aliens.
Also, like old TV shows like Serenity
and The Simpsons. They would get The Simpsons.
But I mean, honestly, that's probably the best way to go is like revive some of these things and give it new light with the backing of Disney. And I mean, Disney hasn't really failed so far. So I mean, other than the last Star Wars movie, but I mean, honestly, I think it's a good thing. We'll just have to see how they tackle it.
Johnny, you're a comics fan.
Yep.
With Fox, there's a lot of comic characters in that universe. Chat me up about the characters that you want to see integrated fully, and what characters do you think we'll see pop up first when this deal is likely to happen?
Well, the thing about it is, though, Fox pretty much owns the X-Men franchise. And the thing about it is, though, in the comic books, even though they're part of Marvel, they're pretty much their own universe.
Yeah.
Because they have so many spin-off books. We're going to England with Excalibur. They have the Time Force Exile, a time travel comic called Exiles and everything like that. So there's just so much infinite possibility. But if they were like to team up with Marvel, I think they want to like play with it. Sorry, if they had bought, I think they want to play with it a little bit and probably do something like a Generation X movie first.
Oh, interesting.
Like establish some new mutants and everything like that,
Yeah.
some younger generation, everything like that, and then start bringing in the older cats and everything
So
like
like
that first.
give it a little time, you know.
A little breathing room and
Yeah.
everything like that. Because if you do another X-Men movie, there's gonna be all this expectation upon it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go with something like Generation X or New X-Men or something like that, it gives you a lot more freedom and less expectation. It gives a chance to introduce a whole new generation of mutants to a whole new generation of fans.
You don't think fans would be open to a whole new reboot for the X-Men franchise? Like, I mean, they did it with Spider-Man like twice already. So
No, I think they would, but I think they might want to take a break from it first, though,
Yeah.
instead of just recasting Wolverine like that.
I want to take a break from the Marvel news, and I'm going to say thank you for all of you joining us in the chat. And I'm going to give a shout out to some of you guys. Golden R, thank you for joining us. Layla, always avid supporter, thank you. Blackwing, pleasure to always see you. Matthew Thompson, I'm happy you're here. And Fail Whale 34, thank you so much for joining us. There's a lot of you guys in here right now. Kendrick Figures, you're the man. Guys, keep chiming in on your chats. And also, we do have that super chat feature. Before we get into our next thing, another feature that we do have, we shouldn't say feature as much as it is a social community, the THS Hashtaggers group that is exclusively on Facebook. And you can join us to talk about what exactly, Jezzer?
on the THS hashtaggers group.
Yeah.
Anything that you find interesting, honestly. I mean, you got Marvel, you got DC, you got Power Rangers. I mean, Power Morphicon's coming up, so you guys are posting a whole bunch of videos and
Big controversy about Power Morphicon.
yeah, we'll talk about that on Saturday. I think that would be a huge thing to talk about. But yeah, I mean, honestly, it's also a great place for you guys to coordinate hotel arrangements. You guys are in the group, and you guys pretty much know each other. You guys are spending time in the chat room every Saturday. So you guys, I feel like you guys should be comfortable with sharing a room with them, especially if you want to save your wallets and use that money to take pictures of your favorite Power Rangers.
And most of you guys already know this, and it goes without saying, is that the number one thing, if you want to get the fastest news and the best news first, you got to go to that hashtagshow.com. However, if you like sleep, like a lot of us do, and you don't want to go to that hashtagshow.com immediately, you got to go to our Facebook page at that hashtagshow.com or any of our other outlets, because we have the latest and greatest for you. We do it for you guys. So again, thank you so much for joining us. Now, let's get right back into news. I want to jump right back into the news. Right now in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there's a lot going on. We had the release of Antman and the Wasp.
Yep.
Right? We know what the future films are for Marvel, but Kevin Feige did say earlier this week that we are closer to getting more Marvel heroes in the universe. I'm sorry, more female Marvel heroes in the universe than we are males. So Johnny, we got a super chat, guys.
Woo!
All these Spider-Man
Toku.
films sound like a what ifs, and I agree with you. But Johnny, talk to me about strong female Marvel characters, because I'll be honest with you, now this is the Infinity Watchtower. I do feel that DC has the stronger female characters.
You think so?
I mean, all right, name me, besides any members of the X-Men or Fantastic Four.
Why are you doing this to me, Jack?
Exactly, there you go.
Trying to make a point
All right, but
right
no,
now.
I was gonna make a point.
Let's go. I got it.
All right,
I'll try.
so I was going to say, name me female members of the Avengers that aren't in the Fantastic Four or aren't in the X-Men.
female members of the Avengers.
Name me 10.
You
Rapid
said
fire.
five. You
All right,
said five.
five. Rapid fire.
Okay, Spider-Woman.
Yeah.
Tigra. Scarlet Witch. Captain Marvel. And Captain Marvel, the black one.
See how hard that was, though? You added 2 Captain Marvels. I mean, all right, now, name me 5 DC female characters that are in the Justice League.
Wonder Woman, Huntress, Big Barda, Zatanna sometimes, and Ice and Fire 6.
See how easier that was?
That was easier.
With Marvel, they've been criticized. They've been criticized a lot lately for not necessarily having the inclusion of female characters. Now we're getting that, and we're going to talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp, because I think that the Wasp is a great example of that. However, with what we've got in this in the Marvel Cinematic Universe currently, how excited are you for a female Avengers movie?
Like, you mean an all-female Avengers movie?
All-female Avengers.
I will low-key be kind of hyped for that because right now they're doing the comics with a book called A-Force. It kind of came out as this like one shot. There was like designed as like a promotional time where they're promoting Avengers. It was like a what-if story, but it was super bad. They had a female Loki there. They had America Ferrera. Not America Ferrera is the actress.
Wait, what?
What's her name? Miss America.
America Ferrera.
Yeah.
Ugly Betty.
Yeah, Loki. She always reminds me of that. Superstore, good show. But yeah, so they did an all-female Avengers movie. It'll be super badass because at one point in that A-Force, they had the female Loki because there was a time period where Loki was female because guys are gender fluid like that. And so if they did an all-female Avengers movie, like, I'd be totally on board with it. Why not?
Yeah.
All right. I agree with that. Now, Jezzer,
so is the Black Widow movie still a go? It's still greenlit.
Yeah, it seems like it. We got another super chat. Tigra really also needs that A-Force movie. She does though.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing the Cheetah in DC. Tigra definitely needs a movie.
I wonder how that's gonna go though.
With the Cheetah, especially if it's
Cheetah on screen going against Wonder Woman, like
Kristen Wiig.
Yeah.
Hey man, don't count Wonder Woman out. It's a great film.
Like, I kind of have a feeling that she. Oh, sorry.
Jezzer.
Yes.
Rumor and innuendo states that we are going to get a female Marvel movie. What would you want to see and why? As a film goer.
A female Marvel movie?
This is in the wrong spot. We have the Ant-Man helmet here, and I can't put it in the right spot for you guys.
Like just a standalone female movie?
Yeah.
Dang, that's a... And not part of X-Men or Fantastic Four. Well, we're getting Captain Marvel. Which one?
I don't know what that means.
Adjust the angle.
No, just adjust the helmet. You can come on camera. Come on camera.
No, but I can't see. I need.
Oh yeah.
You want to get the white things, the back
I don't
boards?
know, like, who do we still have left on the board as far as strong? How about maybe Miss Marvel?
Listen, Miss Marvel's been rumored for a while now. I think Miss Marvel is a thing that's going to happen sooner than later. Oh, it's coming apart at the seams.
broke it, man.
It's not broken. It's just the way it
Hey,
really
look,
is.
the top parts are moving too.
It does. The whole thing moves. Did you not know that?
No. Does it go down like it does in the movie?
Yeah.
Where it turns into a little hoodie?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was really cool.
That was cool.
Yeah.
This is our Ant-Man helmet. It's gonna separate us. We did get this from Marvel Studios. Thank you, Marvel Studios.
It's broken.
It's not broken. It's just in pieces. That's the way the thing it was.
Yeah.
What else? What were you talking about? I cut you off because
You're talking to me about a female Marvel movie.
yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what would make money as far as, like, in Hollywood. I don't know. What would you say? What would be your first choice? Is it Black Widow?
As a female Marvel character, I gotta go Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, but we're getting that, right?
We are
Yeah.
getting that. After that though,
She-Hulk.
Storm. If you're gonna get the
X-Men.
if you're gonna get the Fox characters back, make a Storm movie.
But you said Avengers, though. She's never been an Avenger.
She has been an Avenger.
Storm's been an Avenger?
Yeah,
She was
she's
Storm
been
an
an
Avenger.
Would you throw
She
in
was a member of
Wakanda
the
in
Fantastic
there?
Four.
And the Avengers.
Well, she was a member of the
Go look
Avengers.
it up.
Would you
Rogue
throw-
also was another one.
What was she? Oh, wait. Are you talking about when they did that last Uncanny Avengers book?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But would you do like with Wakanda, or would you be like?
Honestly, I mean, I've went over this plenty of times on this show. I already know what I want to do with the X-Men. I want to start with the Starjammers, and I want to build up towards the mutant gene. I don't want to give it all away real quick, but
It gives like you said, gives a little breathing room for.
yeah, and it doesn't
fans.
make it so forced, and it doesn't make you feel like you need to see Xavier and Wolverine right away.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, give me Christopher Summers and his band of weird aliens, him being a space pirate, and let's go from there.
Would you be down for like an Uncanny X-Men team first before the current X-Men team?
Well, I'd be down to have the Easter eggs and younger mutants appear in Marvel movies, and have Xavier recruit them maybe as a post-credit scene in said Marvel movies,
Yeah.
and then have those Marvel movies connect into being an X-Men movie.
That actually sounds like a really good payoff.
Just hire me.
Yeah, that's
Hire
a
me.
really good payoff. And then like people would just be like, "Oh, wow, did you see which X-Men was in this movie?" You know, like in every single MCU movie going forward, you get one X-Men, and then at the end, you had kind of the Nick Fury role where Xavier is just recruiting them for his school.
That used to be how it was back in the day. Like in the original Marvel's comics, Peter Parker would like go to a party as Peter Parker, and the X-Men just might be there. because they're all around the same age group and everything like that.
That's awesome.
Next thing I want to talk about is, you guys already know this. What?
Johnny's mic.
Johnny's mic.
Aimed at the Antman.
Next thing we got to talk about is definitely 100% the T Public store.
The T Public store.
Jezzer, you have some information on that.
The T Public store is where you can get all your geek merchandise. Even, I mean, this is the perfect time for you guys to just check out the website, because it's con season's coming up. You're gonna want to like show off your fandom in the form of T-shirts, hoodies, tank tops, phone cases. I know Toku Kid got that hashtag show phone case, so that's pretty cool.
Way to go, Toku.
So yeah, just hit up that site, and pretty much every 2 weeks there's a sale, which pretty much pays for shipping and even more than that. So if you guys just check out that website constantly, you'll find some really cool deals and really cool designs from independent artists, and that's what's great. Like supporting independent artists is probably one of the biggest things in the community. So if you guys want to check it out, get all your cool geek gear from that website. The link is in the bio. It's also right on the screen.
So that is a great cause. Also, yeah, get a T Public. Go to our link on T Public and get one of those cool geek shirts, because Comic-Con is right around the corner.
Yeah.
So next thing I want to talk about is Antman and the Wasp. It's what you came in here for. I talked to the cast of the movie. Jezzer,
Yeah.
hit the clip.
Oh, snap. Clip.
This is my bathroom break. Where would you like to see Hank go next?
Well, since we're on this thing of, I like to see him, if there's magic, we do movie magic in terms of flashback. How about just getting Hank back to his prime age as the original Antman and kick some serious ass?
I was just going to ask you that.
I'm ready. I'm geared. I need a good stunt double. You know, I'll find him. You know, but now you can just make me look 40 years younger.
Mr. Douglas,
Let's do
you
the
can
whole
do
job.
anything. Love it so much. And how much input did you have into the character of Hope this time around with working with Peyton?
Working with Peyton and with the heads of Marvel, who should be credited for this collaborative effort, because they're always involved, deeply involved. I felt very heard. I felt very respected. I felt that they always wanted my opinion, that they invited my opinion, and of course I was always there to offer it, because I have a lot of opinions. That said, it is a collaboration, so not all of them end up on the screen, and what you end up with is a great surprise at the end of like, what will be there? What elements will they have incorporated? And I was the happiest about, the thing that I harped on with them the most was, I don't want Hope to be the heavy. I don't want her to be the mother scolding all the boys.
Right.
You shouldn't do this. You're bad. Settle down. Be nice. Because I think often women get depicted that way in male stories. I want her to be a modern woman who can handle herself in a group of men, who can give it just as good as she gets it.
Absolutely.
Who knows how to laugh at a joke, and who has a sense of humor. I want to see her smile in this movie.
Right.
And she's so happy now. She's in a great place with her dad. She's the Wasp. Like, I just wanted her to exude female, feminine power.
Well, your character's powers opens the door for the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. How does it feel to join such a crazy franchise after the events in Infinity War?
It's amazing. It's an honor. I am pinching myself. I mean, it's such a huge universe to join. And I was honored to play Ghost,
right.
to come in playing Ghost, and she is badass. She's badass. She really does it for me, and also to have a male written, you know, comic book character, and, you know, as a female, take that and adapt it into my own and have the freedom to do that. That was, yeah, that's an honor to be able to do.
Not a lot is known about Ghost, at least in this iteration for the film. What is Ghost's motivation to you in this film?
I think Ghost's motivation to me, it's with any villain, I mean, I like to call her the antagonist, the threat of the film, is the motivation is high. It's high stakes. It's high stakes. You know, she sees herself as the good guy, and everyone else is the bad guy. That's why you kind of, that's the approach I have whenever I play someone who is not seen through the eyes of the protagonist of the film. So to me, it's you've got to play that desperation, the stakes of what you need and your wants in the film and your objective with playing it like, well, it's why shouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? So yeah, it's things aren't black and white; they're kind of grey.
Now, one thing I said, move over Black Widow, because Evangeline Lilly's Hope kicks ass. She's so great in this movie. So how long was this idea floating around? Because this is really, I mean, it's an ensemble, obviously, but this is, I think it's mostly focused on Hope and Hank a lot.
Yeah, and I think after the first movie, where she's around the first movie, not in a suit, but clearly the more capable person of taking care of the business at hand in the first movie, but Hank can't see it and won't allow it. So now that at the end of the first movie, oh, here's the suit, I think it's time. Evangeline and I talked a lot about her fighting style, her confidence, everything about that character. And it really is like her story. Like it's both Hank and her mission to find her mom, but like we really wanted to, we start the movie with a scene where you sort of see young Hope.
Right.
And the effect that the loss of her mom had on her.
Right.
And that emotionally, I think, drives her through the whole movie.
Yep. Now, another question I have is, like, everyone loves trilogies. Any ideas that you have floating in your head for a trilogy, and do you think we can get something kind of like The Incredibles, where it's like a family adventure thing? Because you got Cassie, you got Hank,
Yeah.
Scott, Hope.
We have tons of ideas, and we had, as we were developing this one, we had a lot of ideas that we moved away from, during the process. And if we're fortunate enough to do a third one, we all have tons of ideas about where we think it will go. I mean, we really have, I think, only scratched the surface of the quantum realm.
Right.
And there are all these elements, I think, that we want to, given the opportunity, explore. And I'm also excited by the Scott-Cassie dynamic.
So am I. Now, and I was just going to bring that up. I love that we kind of get a little foreshadowing for maybe Stature, possibly in the future, when she says that she wants to be her dad's partner. Now, we know that James Gunn kind of advised had some input on his Guardians characters.
Yes.
For the Avengers, Infinity War, and Avengers 4. Did you have the same kind of thing with Scott in Avengers 4?
Yeah, there's a lot of crosstalk, which is great, amongst directors. And again, even on the first movie, I had the Russos come in and look at early cuts just to see how Paul was playing Scott Lang to inform what they did in the Civil War. And Marcus and McFeely, who are writing the Avengers movies, we all, talk about what the overall arcs are going to be, so everyone is in sync about all this stuff. I can't say much more than that, or I'm going to get a wasp dart in my neck.
Oh, amazing job. Again, this is your third time playing the character. One thing I love about Scott Lang is that he's unassuming, but he's also just a hero out of helping his friends and his family, which I really love. And the family part is the real big through line through this, especially with his relation with Cassie. So what is his motivation to help out Hank and Hope in the sequel to
Well,
Batman?
I certainly think that he feels guilty. He feels guilty he kind of screwed him over with what he did in Civil War. And that's where we start this thing. So we're not really talking. And, guilt can be a big driving force. And I think that there is a need to be decent and do the right thing.
Right.
And the conflict is, he wants to do that with his daughter, and he also wants to do that with them, and those two things don't really mix.
Right.
And so he's struggling with it.
Luis was such a hit in the last film, along with T.I. and everybody else. But I love Randall Park in this film. Jimmy Woo's relationship in Scott Lang, I love it. Tell me how much of that was actually on the page, and how much of that was just you guys?
That was, most of that was we were just doing that.
Really?
Yeah. Randall and I have worked together a few times. He's the funniest dude, and he's so good at playing so serious.
I love it.
And just missing. There were, so I think the relationship that those two characters have was really kind of starting to grow as we would just do it.
I just want to see, I wanted to see them just out to dinner, just talking, just out to dinner. It'd be great.
It would be such a stilted, awkward dinner.
Exactly. Now, where would you want to see Scott Lang go next? What else do you want to explore in the character?
I don't know. I've had some thoughts. If they were, I have no idea whether or not they'll do anything else with this. I really don't. Marvel's very good at keeping their cards close to their chest, not just with the public. But I've thought about things like, what would, if we ever did another one, what could it be? And I've I have some thoughts, but I hesitate to say what they are in case we actually do wind up going in that direction, and some of those things that Scott is dealing with, or things that I'm thinking of now. I don't really know.
Now, in Civil War, we see Ant-Man in the back of a van. That's how Captain America first sees him. Going forward into the future, how do you think Captain America views Ant-Man now?
Well, you'd have to ask him. I wonder if he would. I don't know what his opinion would be. I would like to think he would like him because, I mean, the guy, you know,
Stuck his neck out.
Yeah, he showed up.
Yeah.
I mean, he did some pretty cool things for him.
Exactly. One thing that I love is the relationship with Cassie, and she kind of foreshadows this partnership, this stature thing. Do you think if we did see an Ant-Man 3, that possibly we could get more of like the Incredibles kind of like family dynamic vibe?
That's an interesting thing. I don't know. You know, one of the things that I think does separate this is this whole thing about family and parents and kids, and certainly my relationship with Cassie is a huge component of it. But it's also a father-daughter relationship with Hope and Hank, and so this. It does seem like it's their family business.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It would. That's a good idea.
That is you.
Welcome back. We are back live. I hope you guys enjoyed that, getting some insight from the cast and crew of Ant-Man and the Wasp. That movie
It's great.
is great. Johnny's not here anymore.
Yeah.
Johnny's leaving to Las Vegas because he talked about going to that Las Vegas Comic-Con, whatever it may be. He's going out there right now.
He's driving.
He's on his way. But me and Jez are going to hold it down. We're going to talk a spoiler-free version of Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Which is going to be pretty hard.
If you super chat,
we spoil it?
We'll give you some spoilers.
Yeah, yeah. What do you want to start off with? I think the main plot...
First thing I want to start off with is, based on those interviews, is there anything that you want to see more of with Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Well, I mean, without spoiling anything, I do want to see how it's going to start back up again, you know, where we're going to leave off. And there's a bunch of foreshadowing things that some of the characters have said that will definitely lead into the future of Ant-Man, like Ant-Man 3, what it's going to be. And I can probably already imagine what Ant-Man 3's title is going to be, so.
What do you think it would be?
Stature?
Interesting. I think that the Ant-Man 3 title would be like Ant-Man and the, like, whatever other character.
And they left it pretty open-ended as far as things went.
Do you know what spoiler-free means, do you think?
I mean, I'm not spoiling anything. I'm not spoiling any plot. Yes, you are. Huh? Am I?
It's a little spoiler-ish what you're going towards.
Okay, well, we'll dial it back. Nagami, every time I get close to saying something, raise your hand or...
So now we're going to get into our spoiler-free review of Ant-Man and the Wasp. I will make sure Jezzer doesn't try to spoil things. But I'm going to give you our first initial reactions. I thought the movie was great. I thought it was better than the first Ant-Man and the Ant-Man movie.
You thought it was like 100% better?
Yeah, the reason why is I thought they had a better grasp of the characters.
Or grasp of the theme, or what they wanted to do with the movie.
Right, and I also think that with the first movie, Peyton Reed was kind of at the mercy of it being an Edgar Wright story. Whereas Peyton Reed got the real opportunity to do
from the
ground up the movie on his own, and I also think they used the city of San Francisco in a very innovative way. I thought that the movie, the through line of the movie is family, which is funny because I talked to Peyton Reed about this. And Paul Rudd is that the Ant-Man and the Wasp Marvel movies are they most closely resemble to me the Incredibles. Because it's a family-based thing.
Start off of
right, we got another super chat, though. Yeah. Is Goliath the secret villain? I think he is. We can't answer that because,
spoiler-free.
It's a spoiler-free version, but we did say we would give spoilers if people super chatted.
Oh, he did. Thank you, Joe. Someone needs to control Jezzer. He's off the rails.
You're off the rails.
Okay.
You're off the rails.
Okay. All right.
The Toku Kid question, of which you asked about Goliath.
How do you want to tackle that one?
Let me think about things real quick in my head, because it's better than you thinking of things in your head, because when you say it, it's not going to come out the way that it probably should come out. But when I say it, it's going to come out like this. It's going to say that
he has a
Laurence Fishburne has a very important role in Hank Pym's past, and that's explored thoroughly in this movie. But not only Hank Pym's past, but in some of the other characters' past, which is explored thoroughly in this movie. And I think that he's a brilliant choice to
Spoiler
be Bill
check.
Foster.
Is that a spoiler? Okay, cool.
I'm pretty good. I'm getting better at
We're
this,
getting
right?
good. We're getting good. Okay.
I should be a politician, is what
All
I'm
right.
saying. But realistically, with this movie, I think some of the things that I really did enjoy about it was that at the end of the day, the first Ant-Man movie is a heist movie. This movie is a chase movie. A lot of the scenes in here are chase things.
Chase movies,
and they
yes.
parallel other scenes that are happening in this movie. I think that the brilliance of Peyton Reed in this is the comedy.
The
The comedy
comedy
hits
is
so
great.
hard.
Yes.
A lot of people are going to walk out of this movie thinking this is the funniest Marvel movie they had ever seen. And it's comparable to Ant-Man, I'm sorry, to Thor Ragnarok for
very
me.
comparable.
But Luis, again,
Yeah, Luis,
amazing.
that's
But for me, who steals the show? Jimmy Woo. Randall Park. Randall Park, Jimmy
was
Woo
hilarious.
is so good in this movie.
I kind of want to see him in more Marvel movies, not just this. Is that a possibility, you think?
Randall Park, absolutely. I mean, if you I have an interview coming out with Kevin Feige on ScreenRant.com. Kevin talks about that exactly because I said I loved Randall so much. I offer the option of maybe making
Him, like the new Coulson?
well, no, but maybe making the Marvel shorts with Randall in the Agents of Atlas or a spin-off TV show. I think it would be great. Randall Park, honestly, you're going to go into this movie not thinking Randall Park has a big role. He's great. He's
funny.
fantastic.
He's funny. I was a little iffy on what his role was going to be, but it's a good... You really just want to just watch a movie with just him. He's so funny.
But also his chemistry with Paul Rudd,
Very much so.
so
It's
good.
funny.
So I didn't know this until Paul told me. They worked on 3 other projects together, and a lot of the stuff that they were doing was off the cuff. They were just doing it live, and that's what made it into
I
the
could
movie.
tell which ones they were because it was just like.
But that's Randall Park, right?
Yeah,
that
yeah.
awkwardness that he
Yes,
brings to the
yes.
table. I love so much. Sam, you're out of here?
I am.
Take care, buddy. I love so much. Oh, by the way, you want to come in here for a second? People haven't seen you in a long time, Sam.
I know, right?
People have not seen you in a long time. You guys remember Sam? He's been gone for a long time. Blackwing hates you. Remember that?
What's
Oh.
up, guys?
Sam's
Thank
here.
you so much. Sam's the daddy. Bye, daddy.
Bye, Daddy Sam.
Daddy. I'll be back soon. I promise.
But yeah, what did you think? Do you think Luis was funnier in this movie or the last?
Man, I think Luis was great in this movie, but it's his storytelling that he does in
movie?
this
I do
movie.
have a little video of that. Do you want to see it?
No.
No.
What do you mean?
It's a little recap. That he did.
Of the video that he did in this movie?
Yeah.
No.
It's
That's a
only-
spoiler.
No, it's a trailer. It's a trailer. Where are you getting these balls?
All right, we'll play it.
All right. Yeah, let's see.
The story of Ant-Man and the Wasp, as told by Luis.
I first met Scotty in Cell Block D, and I was like, I'm Luis. And he says, I'm Scotty, and we're gonna be best friends. Scotty gets out of jail, and that's when he met Hope. Look at my hairdo, I'm all business. But then Scotty's like, I'm gonna go trash in the airport with Captain America.
Cap needed help, so...
Captain America. And then she said, he's gonna screw up again and ruin everything.
He's great. He's great in this movie. Luis is also great. It's the comedy aspects that really sold me on this film. Now, also, I think the one thing that I think we needed Ant-Man and the Wasp for is a palate cleanser from Infinity War. Infinity War is so dark, so deep. Even though it has its levity, but it's a completely different tone, and it gives you the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But it's almost kind of like, I mean, a lot of you guys can understand this when I'm talking about it, but like, it's almost like when you're eating a meal, or maybe that's a bad example. It's almost like when you're watching a TV show and you get hit with something really heavy and the next episode needs to be a little bit lighter to lift you up. That's this movie. But not saying it's not filler by any means of the imagination. This movie matters. It might matter more so than you actually think it does. And I think that is the intriguing part about what the Marvel Cinematic Universe is doing. Jezzer, talk to me about what you thought about the additional cast. Hannah John Kamen, Michelle Pfeiffer. Talk to me about some of these new cast additions. Laurence Fishburne.
Yeah.
Without giving any spoilers away, because we know you do that.
Yeah. Laurence Fishburne was great. I really liked that they kind of teased his past a little bit, and I can't wait to see. I want like you had talked about to Michael Douglas of maybe having him do the little CGI, make him look a little bit younger, and maybe seeing a young Hank Pym as Ant-Man.
Was Ant-Man the first Ant-Man the first time we got de-aging technology in a Marvel movie? No, realistically.
The first one?
The first Ant-Man.
We had, it wasn't for the Marvel, maybe X-Men 3?
No, but for the Marvel, I think Ant-Man 1 was the first one that really de-aged an actor in order for...
Before or after Civil War?
It was before
Okay.
Civil War, yeah. So Ant-Man may have been cutting the trend when it comes to that. Now, Michael Douglas, and this isn't a spoiler, Michael Douglas did say he would love to see a prequel with Hank Pym in his prime. That's interesting to me, mainly because Star Wars has been using the de-aging technology with Princess Leia,
General
Grand Moff Tarkin, but having a whole film dedicated towards that is.
Do you think it'd work? Do you think the technology is sound to have it be the whole movie?
I think it could work, but I think it changes the game of film at that point.
That means that you don't technically need the actor there.
Well, that technically means that you're making like this video game kind of movie, which could work because maybe that's the era we're going in. An animated film, yeah. I mean, it's a little bit. It's almost where, remember Final Fantasy: The Spirit Within? It's almost what they wanted to do with that movie, but it's having the technology to do it now.
How about having an Ant-Man 3 movie with a few more flashbacks with Hank Pym's Ant-Man?
I think that would work. The only downside about that is that you've already seen it at this point. So I think that with a Michael Douglas Ant-Man, you can think about this for a second.
We haven't seen him create the technology.
Yeah, but let's take a step back. Well, Hank Pym.
Yeah.
Take a step back and really think about the golden age of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? And I think this would be an intriguing movie. In the 1990s, early 1990s, you have Hank Pym, Jan Van Dyne, played by Michelle Pfeiffer, and Hank Pym, played by Michael Douglas.
Okay.
You have older Agent Peggy Carter, played by Haley Atwell.
Okay. Easy.
Younger Nick Fury, which they're doing in Captain Marvel, played by
Nick Fury. You don't have to do much to.
Played by Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Young Clark Gregg, playing Coulson. You have all of these. Robert Redford could make an appearance again. You can get all of these classic S.H.I.E.L.D. characters we've gotten cinematically and put them into a movie. Oh, Howard Stark when he's older by John Slattery. Like, you can get these characters and make that a movie. I think that's an interesting movie because this is when we start getting the corrupt S.H.I.E.L.D., which Captain America spoke about. Yeah, where Captain America spoke about in Winter Soldier.
Okay.
And you can plant the seeds on a lot of the stuff that's going to happen in the future, but also plant the seeds on the things that happened in Winter Soldier, which was arguably, and also, by the way, it's also the same exact time that Winter Soldier kills Stark's parents.
Yeah.
And Black Widow leaves the USSR for the United States.
Do you think that's the next phase?
Well, it is, but all this is coinciding together. The next phase of Marvel, and this is my prediction, it's not a spoiler, but just my prediction. I think that we're heading into prequels, and we're heading into team-ups. And I think those are going to mix and mash because Marvel, at this point, has sold you solidly on progressing their cinematic universe.
And team-ups would work. I mean, people already love the team-ups that they had with the Guardians. And
we got another super chat. Does the film flow, or do you think do you feel the act changes?
I don't think so. I mean, there were maybe a few scenes where it slowed down a little bit, but I think it flowed pretty well.
Yeah, I think the flow of this film is better than the Ant-Man movie.
Yeah, with the Ant-Man movie, there was a little bit of a like a null, but with this one, not so much.
I also think that Cassie's such an important part of this movie.
Yes, I think the whole dynamic between her and her dad, it was nice to see. Not just with them two, but with the cop before. Remember the cop he was giving him? He was giving him a hard time.
I almost felt that in this movie he's a throwaway character though, a little bit.
A little bit, but there's the little things that you notice about it. So in the first film, he was kind of like a sore in his side. Like he was a little bit of an antagonist. He was kind of like throwing him off a little bit, especially since he was the one throwing him in jail. With this film, you see that him and the wife are very supportive of him, despite what had happened in Civil War. Sure. And like they are his support group throughout all this, and they believe that he could find redemption. He could like get back on the right side of the law. And it's mostly so that they're doing it for Cassie, because especially with a this kind of family, you have to, just so you don't mess up the kid, you have to support your former spouse.
And to piggyback off of what you just said on the back end of that, which I think is super important, is that they have this relationship, but it shows you that even though Scott Lang has a daughter from another woman that's in a relationship, it's a cohesive family, which is a lot of families that are happening right now in the United States. And I think it makes you it's not a thing, just makes you feel like comfortable with it.
Yeah.
It makes you feel accepting of it, which I
versus like 20 years ago.
Where it's kind of like, oh, well, he was the dad, it should be a thing. There's a trope. He shouldn't get along with the new husband kind of a deal. Whereas this isn't that.
It's and little things like that. It's that, like Peyton Reed just changing things like that. It's pretty important, especially with how families are going now. And I think it was really great just seeing how supportive the daughter was of Scott, despite him trying to,
Another fun thing I liked about this movie, or I should say major plot point, not a spoiler, is that the Ant-Man, Scott Lang, is not the primary character of this film.
No,
it's Jan. I'm sorry, it's Hope.
It's Hope.
Hope Van Dyne.
Hope is great in this movie, and she doesn't. You don't feel like she's just like she's not a sidekick.
She's not a sidekick. She is a primary, up and center character.
If anything, I feel like Ant-Man was a little bit of the sidekick in this one.
Yeah.
Especially there's a scene in a school where it's really funny. I thought it was hilarious.
That was great.
I thought it was hilarious, and I like that. They really pick up after the events of Civil War, and it just really flows, and it's really connected. Even though it's a standalone film, like you could view it as a standalone film, it's really connected to Civil War and the previous films.
Intriguing question that Hope says to Hank, how come you didn't ask me?
No, she says, you probably wouldn't have got caught if you asked me.
Yeah.
And then he goes, would you have come?
She's like, well, you never know. I think that is so intriguing to me. Because what side would Hope really be on?
What side would she be on? That's an interesting thing. I would say, like, she probably would have been on Iron Man's side.
I think so too.
But I would also say that she would want to support Hank.
Now in the
Scott.
In the press conference, which we have an article coming out about, she talks about how she was initially going to be introduced in Civil War, but wasn't, and it was for the better. That'll be an article on that #show.com. You can check that out.
You think it's better? I think it's better. I think that she needed the, like, I think if they were just to throw it in there.
I think the major flaw I have with this movie is that realistically it should be called Wasp and Ant-Man. The Wasp and Ant-Man. Because she is the highlight character in this film.
And she plays a huge part in the plot, I think.
Another thing that I loved about this movie is, and I'm not going to get too far deep into this because it can be a spoiler, so I'm going to be very careful talking about this, is that the villain situation.
Yeah.
To me, I liked it a lot.
You liked it, you liked the whole thing.
Yeah, I did like it.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about it without spoiling anything? Because they really don't show, which is a good thing. They really don't show you anything in the trailer of the... Well, you know it's Ghost, right? The character's Ghost. They don't show anything in the trailer, so not knowing is probably best.
And that Ghost costume might be one of my favorite costumes that they've ever done in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And I am seeing a whole bunch of cosplayers already starting up on
Really?
it. Yeah, a whole bunch. I mean, it's a good costume, and it reminds me a lot of, like, maybe Overwatch or all those costumes. But I mean, just the costume designs for this movie are great. I like all the new. I like the Wasp new costume. And then they brought back the van.
Oh yeah,
that van is great.
Louise's
That's an iconic van. That's an iconic van.
A lot of people are not liking my theory or my suggestion of having it be called Wasp and the Ant-Man because listen, this is the Wasp movie. Ant-Man was almost an
Watch it
afterthought.
first and then come back and then you decide.
Yeah, I mean, I think that for me, this is exactly what Marvel needed to show you that hey, we have strong female characters here too.
And she is a very strong female.
But not only that, the one thing I love about Evangeline Lilly's performance is that she is not just badass, she's intelligent, but also she has this vulnerable side to her that when you can see like the stuff that's going on with her and Scott, she actually cares.
Oh,
and to me, She portrayed the role excellently. Now we got on the super chat. You called it Snapchat. I just want you to know that. Hank Petty for not upgrading Scott's suit. Well, in the movie.
In the trailer, he has a new suit.
Hold on. In the movie, Daniel, tell me if this is a spoiler. In the movie, he can't upgrade the suit because Scott's the last one in possession of it in Civil War.
Yes.
That's not a spoiler.
So he was wearing his last.
No, I'm saying that's not a spoiler, right? I'm not saying a spoiler.
Well, that he was wearing it in Civil War.
Right. Scott's wearing the suit in Civil War, which means that Hank can't necessarily upgrade that exact suit, which is the premise, one of the small driving plot factors of the film. Now, how that progresses, that's a part of the movie. Go watch it. But that's not a spoiler, right? I just want to make sure I didn't spoil anything, like Jezzer here.
I didn't spoil
I'm getting
it.
better at my spoiler things. I've been learning.
Yeah.
But yeah, the way that that's even played is great. I think the technology in this movie, honestly, think about this, guys. And I don't know how old you guys are. But imagine, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is essentially, I mean,
yeah,
it's as much fun as it's a superhero as Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, right? And I think that's brilliant.
This isn't a spoiler because I think the whole making things grow and making things smaller, it's throughout the whole film and it's great. Like
it's great.
It's so funny. Everything.
The Stan Lee cameo is great. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I want you to go see the movie. But I think it's brilliant.
This is in the trailer when she
not that Daniel Blackwing, Daniel Nagami, the better Daniel, I like to call him.
She throws the salt shaker and then makes it grow.
That's in the trailer.
Yeah, that's in the trailer.
I will say this though, that fight scene, I call it the kitchen fight scene. It's one of the best fight scenes that I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah,
it's well thought out.
It's almost on par with that Quicksilver scene from Days of Future Past.
Yeah. It's well choreographed. It's a great scene. And let me just say, without giving too much away, the Walden Goggins character, amazing.
Yeah.
I think he was a great performance, and I honestly
think...
He's
a very underrated...
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say that. His performance is going to be underrated when you walk out of this movie. Yeah. Mainly because you're going to be talking about Jimmy Woo and Luis in terms of like, oh, those things were fun.
So you can't say, oh, he's the worst part of it when he's surrounded by just a great cast.
Yeah.
I think the people that fell short a little bit, and it's not their fault, it's just screen time, is T.I. and that other guy.
Yeah.
But that comes with like bringing in so many new characters. You gotta like divvy it out. But I did enjoy them.
When I look back at this movie, I'm gonna think chase scene, and I'm going to think. I wouldn't say heist, but it was definitely the MacGuffin that they were all trying to get. Which I'm not gonna say what it is.
Honey,
I Blew Up the Kid.
That was definitely a theme in this one.
But I do think it's a great film in terms of like. The pacing of the movie's good. The comedy of the movie's good. There's a great scene in there where Paul Rudd is channeling another character, which I thought was brilliant.
Oh my god,
I thought it was so funny. But the great thing about that is Paul Rudd's performance.
That's all Paul Rudd though.
But it's not a comedic performance. It's him playing it straight on.
Yeah.
But it working.
Yes.
Like it might have been funny in the beginning, but it works.
You smile at first, and then you start to get used to it.
Yeah, as an actor, Paul Rudd delivers in this movie.
Yes. Have you seen anything that Paul Rudd?
Yeah,
I mean,
Romeo and Juliet.
That's Mercutio, maybe.
He's not Mercutio. He's the prince guy.
Have you seen anything that he's done comedy? He's done a little bit of drama.
He did an action movie called Mute, which we watched back in the studio. Remember
I was in that
Mute?
one.
You were there.
I didn't watch it.
Mute.
Did you like him in it?
He was good.
He was good in it. The movie wasn't great.
Oh. So I feel like. Do you think he was the perfect role for?
Yeah, this is the first time that I saw Scott Lang, and I didn't think Paul Rudd. I thought, oh, that's Scott Lang.
Yes.
Like this is the first time I was actually able to see Scott Lang.
The montage scene that he has.
That was great.
Hilarious.
Brilliant. I think the usage of the ants also, which is an understatement, it's called Antman. The usage of the ants were all purposefully made. But I will say,
and they didn't dwell too much on it, like
I agree.
Where they come from.
I'm excited for everyone to see this movie. I mean, like I said before, like in the first Ant-Man, I saw Paul Rudd. In Civil War, I even saw Paul Rudd. This felt like Scott Lang.
Yes.
And this felt like, oh, this is who Scott Lang is. He's just Scott Lang.
And do you think that's because of Peyton Reed having...
I'll be honest with you. With Michael Douglas, I think that, and this is another underrated performance, he's Hank Pym. Like, that is what I envision Hank Pym to be now.
Yes, and he has a very deep storyline. Like, he's got a lot of cool things.
I like Hank a lot. I think that Hank's such a complex character, though, that once you peel the onion back a little bit, there's way more, and there's so much more cinematically to chew on, regardless of what the future lies, because he's an older actor, but regardless of what the future lies, but the past you can do so much with.
Yes.
And I think that Hank Pym is such an interesting character to me. And has he had any run-ins with young Tony Stark? Because we've seen young Tony Stark in Civil War. Maybe that's the first time. No, that's not the first time. But we saw young Tony Stark in Civil War.
Trying to discuss this part? No. Is that a spoiler?
I think that's a spoiler, and I kind of want to steer away from that. Let's just say this. There's a scene in the previous movie which has a backstory about the Ant-Man and the Wasp that gets explored in this movie. I don't think that's a secret, mainly because the Wasp, Jan, is in this movie.
They've talked about it in interviews and stuff of what the main plot is.
Right. I just don't want to go too deep into that because it's a good scene, and I want you guys to see it yourself. The quantum realm, as you know, obviously plays a big part of this because it's a part of the story. I mean,
it was in the last 20 minutes of the movie. They didn't really expand on it, but they definitely dived into it. That's not a spoiler. Stop throwing your balls.
How many minutes it was?
Yeah, that's a spoiler. Come on,
no, I said 20 minutes of the last movie.
Last movie, you did say last
Ant-Man movie. I gotta throw these back at you.
You did say last movie.
I said last movie when he came back.
That was way overshot.
Yeah,
you overshot that.
Whatever.
But I think that with this movie, I think they do a great job of balancing the characters.
Yes. Do you feel like anybody got the short end of the stick with it?
I was just thinking that myself, actually. I don't want to give any spoilers away with that, but I will say this. There's characters that can be expanded on in the future in this movie that I'd like to see that expansion. Oh, yeah, there's definitely that. There's also
I like the shrinking stuff and the shrinking and expanding things, like the whole
I mean, Ant-Man is known for having great minor characters in it.
Yeah.
Whether it be Luis, whether it be T.I.'s character, whether it be the other guy
what's his name?
with Jimmy in this movie, Jimmy Woo. But I think that like Bill Foster really intrigues me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to give away what his story is, but Laurence Fishburne. Hey, listen, if you're going to put Laurence Fishburne in your cinematic universe, use him right. DC should know that by now, but they used him wrong. But use him right, and it makes you want to see more of the character and what he was up to and what was going on. I think Bill Foster leads a lot for the future or past of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, we do get a super chat. Jezzer spoiling stuff. What a surprise.
I've been pretty good this episode.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how good has he been?
7.
That's fine. I'll take a C.
Better than last time.
Yeah, but
What about me? I've been a solid 10, 9, 10. I learned from the last time. With this movie, though, I think that if you're going to go into it, you got to go into it knowing that you're not seeing Infinity War. You're not seeing a sequel to Infinity War. You're seeing a completely different standalone movie. If you're paying attention, it has ties to Infinity War, but don't look for it. Because I don't want anyone thinking that I have to look for these Easter eggs in order to enjoy the film. Watch Ant-Man and the Wasp for Ant-Man and the Wasp because it's an enjoyable film. The Easter eggs you'll get. And if you want to see it again to connect all that, you can do that as well. But I don't think you necessarily need... Don't watch Infinity War before this. As long as you get the characters, you understand what's going on.
Yeah.
I think, though, that this plays heavily into Infinity War, though.
Obviously. I mean, even the Russo brothers have even talked about it. That it's connected, in a way, so it's fine.
Kevin Feige said this is the most important movie leading up to Infinity
Did he really?
War. He did.
That's an interesting...
And I don't know what that means. You don't know what that means? Kevin Feige knows what that means. I don't know what that means. I can't even speculate.
If anybody could explore the mind of Kevin Feige, probably be really surprised.
I interviewed him for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I got a couple answers, but I didn't get as much as I wanted.
Yeah.
So we're going to tell you right now what the post-credit scenes are. Just kidding. We're not going to do that. I actually do want you guys to go see the movie. Ant-Man and the Wasp opens up on...
July 6th.
July 6th. Go check out the film. That has been our spoiler-free review of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Next week, we're going to be talking about more DC, more Marvel. And Yeah, I mean, I think we did okay. A lot of people aren't ranking you so high with the spoilers.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say if you haven't seen the movie. So how do you know if I spoiled?
Jezzer has been a 6.5. Joe's been a 9.5. Same. Joe's been a 9.5. Joe has been at a 9. Jezzer's been at a 3.
All right, Moomin Rider. That's this motherfucker.
So we don't know. I mean, but check it out. We want you to go see Antman and the Wasp because we want to hear your opinions. It's not this weekend, is it? It's the weekend
next
after.
weekend. It's July. It's Anime Expo weekend.
In 1 week. In 1 week, we want to hear what your comments are on Antman and the Wasp. We're going to read them live. If you want to shoot a video, do that. Send it into that ths@thathashtagshow.com. Check us out there. But we want to air your live
reactions.
Yeah, but don't make them any longer than 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Make them quick, sweet. You like the movie, didn't like the movie. This is where you think it's going.
Shoot like this.
Quick and sweet. Yeah, give us that landscape view.
Yeah.
Another thing that we want to talk about coming out soon, because it's our next big release, Teen Titans Go.
Oh.
So Teen Titans, now this is going to turn into a DC show as well. Teen Titans Go is going to be our next topic pretty soon. We're going to be talking about the history of Teen Titans Go, Teen Titans in general, and possibly what the Titan series is coming up with.
Hey, did you see that new DC universe?
So did you see what Robin looks like?
Yeah, I like it.
Dude, it's so reminiscent to me of the Dark Knight universe. Like, his suit looked more Dark Knight-ish to me.
Do you think they're going to stick with that for a good portion of the season?
I hope so.
Or are they going to jump straight into Nightwing?
I mean, I think it's going to be Robin. I hope it is, because that Robin suit looked really, really good.
Did you like the Hawk and Dove suit?
Yeah.
You did?
I did.
You didn't think it looked a little too tacky?
No, the only thing I thought that looked tacky from the show so far, and this wasn't even production stills, it was amateur shots, was Starfire and Beast Boy.
Starfire, Beast Boy, and Raven.
Raven was okay with me.
Yeah, Raven was okay?
Yeah.
What do you, I think, yeah, I don't think we should judge Starfire and Beast Boy based on those shots.
I'll say this. I'm super excited about the DC Universe streaming service because there's a lot of things that catch my eye that seem very, very entertaining.
DC movies, all the DC animated films.
The past DC movies,
Yeah,
not the current ones.
Yeah, the past DC movies, all the animated
Young
films.
Justice Season 3.
Yes.
The Harley Quinn animated series.
Exactly.
Swamp Thing. Titans.
Doom Patrol.
Yeah, like you said, the old Smallville.
Smallville, that'd be an easy one. Maybe Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an easy one.
I mean, I'm excited for that because I think DC is so rich in characters. I just want them to be... Listen, and a lot of you guys may or may not know this. I like the Marvel movies, but I like the DC characters more. And that's where my passion comes from with the DC universe. If you actually look at my stuff that I just bought, it's all DC stuff. We got on Super Chat. Mum and Ryder. Make sure Jezzer doesn't spoil it for everyone. Yeah, make sure you don't spoil Teen Titans, man.
I know, man. Oh, we did see Cyborg last night.
We did. Kyrie Payton?
Yeah. He's a cool guy.
But I'm excited for Teen Titans Go, and I actually think the promos for that movie have been really turning me on to that. Yeah,
who plays Batman in this one? Someone famous plays Batman.
Well, we do know that Will Arnett's going to be in the film as Deathstroke. We also know that
great Deathstroke.
That Nicolas Cage is going to be in the movie as Superman.
Okay, yeah, it's going to be very interesting.
I think that the thing that caught me the most was when. I think it was Will Arnett's Deathstroke. He's like, I'm Deathstroke. And then the Teen Titans are like, are you Deadpool? And he's like, no, I'm Deathstroke. I was first like, I'm pretty sure you're Deadpool. That was the best promo.
Do you remember? Huh?
Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel's playing Batman.
Do you remember Full House?
I do.
Do you remember Kimmy Gibbler had a boyfriend back in, early on? And he was like, his only line he said is, whatever.
Yeah?
He's the voice of Robin.
Really?
Yeah. I did not know that. I was like, that's a dude from freaking Full House.
That's interesting.
Crazy.
But yeah, then the next thing we're going to talk about is the Teen Titans Go movie, and that's going to spark us right into Comic-Con. So keep watching this show, The Infinity Watchtower, put us into Comic-Con. After that, we got tons of superhero news for you, and we're going to be bringing you Venom eventually, and then sometime down in the next 8 months, Captain Marvel.
No,
but that's a while. Aquaman as well.
Aquaman in November.
We got a while.
Captain Marvel
away.
In February.
Yes.
It's so much.
But right now is a good time to be a comic book fan. Right here, right now. If you're going to join us at Comic-Con, come down. We're going to be there from Wednesday to Sunday. Find any member of that hashtag show. I'll make you guys a challenge here for you hashtaggers. Anybody that can take the most pictures with members of that hashtag show is going to win a prize. What that prize is going to be, it's going to be one of the exclusive from Comic-Con. What those exclusives are, it's going to be one of the Power Ranger ones. Let's just say that. But if you can take a picture with the most hashtag show members at San Diego Comic-Con, you're going to be deemed the winner. So that is your scavenger hunt, if you will.
San Diego Comic-Con scavenger hunt.
So guys, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I know it's late, and that's my fault, but you guys are the best. Check out our website at thathashtagshow.com. Also, check out Jezzer on social media at
Jezzer Zeus.
And check out me at thathashtagjoe. Also, we got that TeePublic store. Check it out. That's where you're going to get your coolest geek gear. And if you're going to Morphicon, that's where you're going to get your best... Oh, maybe not. You'll get your best shirts at our booth. But that's where you'll be able to represent hashtag show. Also, THS hashtaggers, talk to other like-minded geeks and get stuff from them, because if you guys are looking for a place to stay, that's the place you want to be, with other THS hashtagger group members. And last but not least, the super chat feature, which you guys used extremely well tonight. I really should say Toku and Mummin Ryder, you guys were amazing. And the next show we have live to really get the super chat feature on is going to be this weekend for the Power Ranger wrap-up. Which, Jezzer, give us a little tease to that.
Oh, there's a bunch of new guests, and new Power Rangers, and new Power Ranger merchandise that is coming out. It's exciting. I can't wait for. I definitely can't wait for the concert.
Was headline news as well? You think?
Yeah, we got some headline news.
What? Give us a tease.
What's big that happened? Other than the Power Ranger guest?
Yeah, huge Power Ranger guest, by the way.
Yes, very huge. Can I say what you want to release next?
Well, you can spoil. I mean, don't spoil it, but give us a tease. It's called a tease, not a spoiler.
It has something to do with the next season, or the current season of Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say team up?
Yeah, I'd say team up.
And also a change in the guard at Morphicon. Is that something, a news bit that you want to talk
maybe do a little after dark on that.
All right.
Yeah.
That's gonna do it for us, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Again, you can follow us on social media at Jezzer Zeus and that hashtag Joe. Thank you guys for staying up late and joining us. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button to stay up to date with everything trending
in geek pop culture.
We'll see you guys on Saturday.